Have you ever sat down after a long day, maybe with a cup of tea or coffee in hand, and thought to yourself, why does my body feel different these days? Maybe your energy doesn't last as long, or your heart feels like it's working just a little harder than it used to. That's completely normal after a certain age. Our bodies are wiser, but they also need more thoughtful care. And believe it or not, one of the biggest things that can help or harm your heart isn't some complicated medical procedure or expensive supplement. It's what's sitting on your plate. You see, after 70, the heart has already beaten over 2.5 billion times. It's been through stress, celebration, heartbreak, and joy. That heart of yours has done a lot, and now, more than ever, it deserves support. A lot of people think, well, I've made it this far eating the way I always have, but the truth is our bodies change with time. What was once harmless at 40 might now quietly raise blood pressure, stiffen arteries, or lead to that breathless feeling after just a walk to the mailbox. In this video, we're going to have an honest, encouraging conversation about 7 foods that seniors, especially those over 70, should really think twice about if they want to keep their heart strong, steady, and healthy for years to come. And don't worry, I'm not here to scold or judge. This isn't about fear, it's about feeling better. It's about making small, smart choices that can lead to more walks with the grandkids, more mornings without chest tightness, and more peace of mind when you lie down at night. So, let's talk about the first one, and it's one that's been a staple in many kitchens for decades. White bread. It's soft, it's simple, and it's in just about every grocery aisle. But as harmless as it may seem, that fluffy slice can be a sneaky culprit when it comes to heart health. The reason is this. White bread is made from refined grains, which means most of the fiber, vitamins, and minerals have been stripped away. What's left is a fast-digesting starch that quickly turns into sugar in your bloodstream. And when blood sugar spikes, your body produces more insulin, which can lead to inflammation, weight gain around the belly, and, over time, higher risks of heart disease. And here's the thing, it's not just about sugar. That constant rise and fall in energy after eating white bread can leave you feeling more tired, craving more snacks, and even experiencing mild brain fog. If you've ever had a sandwich for lunch and then felt like you needed a nap an hour later, white bread could be partly to blame. Now, switching to whole grains might seem like a small step, but it's a powerful one. Think about a hearty slice of whole grain or sprouted grain bread. It's more filling, it digests slowly, and it helps stabilize blood sugar. That means steadier energy and less stress on your heart. It doesn't mean giving up sandwiches, it just means giving your heart a bit more support with each bite. Now, let's move on to something that might be hiding in your freezer right now: processed meats. Things like bacon, sausage, hot dogs, and even some deli meats might be convenient and tasty, but they're often packed with sodium, preservatives, and saturated fat. And over time, these ingredients can take a serious toll on your cardiovascular system. Sodium, for example, is one of the biggest contributors to high blood pressure, and high blood pressure is a leading cause of heart failure and stroke. It doesn't always show up with symptoms. You might feel fine for years, and then one day you're in the doctor's office wondering how things got so serious. The trouble with processed meats is that a single serving can contain nearly half your daily recommended sodium, or more. And most people aren't just eating one slice of ham. Then there's something called nitrates, used to preserve the color and extend the shelf life of these meats. When consumed regularly, nitrates may damage blood vessels and make arteries stiffer over time. The result? A heart that has to work harder to pump blood, increasing the risk of heart attack. Now, I'm not saying you have to swear off your favorite Sunday morning breakfast entirely, but if bacon has become a daily habit, it's worth rethinking. There are wonderful alternatives out there now: lower sodium turkey slices, grilled chicken, plant-based options, or even just fresh cuts of meat you cook yourself. The goal isn't to take away joy from your plate, but to put more years on your calendar. Let's talk about one more food before we wrap up this part, and it's one that might surprise you: margarine. For years, we were told it was better than butter, the heart-healthy choice because it didn't contain cholesterol. But many types of margarine, especially the older or cheaper ones, are actually loaded with trans fats. And trans fats are one of the worst offenders when it comes to heart disease. They raise your bad cholesterol, LDL, lower your good cholesterol, HDL, and can cause inflammation in the arteries. That combination? It's like pouring sand into the engine of your car. Over time, it clogs the system. Trans fats were once found in all kinds of baked goods, frozen foods, and fast food. Thankfully, many countries have banned or heavily regulated them, but some margarines and processed spreads still sneak them in under names like partially hydrogenated oils. That's why it's so important to read labels, and if you can't pronounce it, chances are your heart doesn't want it. Instead, consider healthier spreads like avocado, olive oil-based spreads, or even just using less overall. A small drizzle of extra virgin olive oil on toast or steamed veggies brings great flavor and real heart protective benefits. Your heart has been with you through thick and thin, through decades of laughter, love, and life. It's never too late to show it a little more love in return. Just swapping out white bread, reducing processed meats, and being smarter about what you spread on toast. Those are changes you can make today without feeling deprived or overwhelmed. Now that we've talked about these first few foods, let's keep going. There are still a few more surprising items that might be slowing your heart down without you even realizing it. And now that we've already talked about the hidden dangers of processed meats and how sneaky trans fats can quietly sabotage your heart, it's time to keep the momentum going. Let's dive even deeper into what might be sitting on your plate and silently working against your well-being. Think about your favorite warm bowl of soup. Maybe it's a comforting chicken noodle or a rich vegetable stew you've loved since you were young. But have you ever glanced at the label on canned or packaged soups lately? You might be shocked. Some of those innocent-looking cans can pack in more salt than a full day's recommended amount. And the tricky part? It doesn't always taste salty. Sodium has a funny way of hiding behind spices and flavors, so even if something doesn't taste particularly salty, it can still raise your blood pressure through the roof. For anyone over 70, this is especially concerning. Our bodies naturally lose some efficiency when it comes to processing sodium as we age. Your kidneys might not flush it out as well, and your blood vessels may stiffen, making them more sensitive to any extra pressure. That high blood pressure isn't just a number, it's stress on your heart every single day. So even if you don't feel the effects right away, your heart is working harder than it should, just from that bowl of soup or those frozen meals you keep on hand for convenience. Now, I'm not saying you need to throw out every can in your pantry, but it's time to be more mindful. Look for low sodium or no salt added options. And if you have the time and energy, nothing beats homemade. When you cook at home, you're in full control, not just of the flavor but of your future health. Now let's talk about something a little more sweet than salty. I know many of us grew up loving a good dessert. A slice of pie, a scoop of ice cream, a sweet coffee in the afternoon. It's comforting, familiar, and let's be honest, it makes us feel good. But added sugars can be a quiet threat that sneaks into your routine and gradually takes a toll on your heart health. After 70, our metabolism slows down, our body becomes less forgiving, and even a small daily sugar habit can contribute to weight gain, insulin resistance, and inflammation, all of which are bad news for your heart. And here's the kicker. Sugar is everywhere. Not just in cakes and cookies, but in salad dressings, sauces, flavored yogurts, and even seemingly healthy cereals. You might not feel the effects right away, but over time, sugar can lead to spikes in blood sugar and insulin levels, increasing your risk of type 2 diabetes. And diabetes itself doubles your risk of heart disease. It's all connected: your plate, your pancreas, your blood vessels, and your heart. That's why cutting down on added sugars isn't about giving up sweetness completely, but about choosing better sources. Fresh fruits can satisfy a sweet tooth while offering fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants. And sometimes, just sipping on a cup of herbal tea or munching a handful of berries can satisfy that craving without sending your heart into overdrive. Now, I want to bring up something that might surprise you. Something that seems healthy on the surface: vegetable oils. You know the ones: corn oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil. We were told for years these were better than butter, better than lard, better than anything with saturated fat. And yes, in some ways they are. But the problem lies in the quantity and the kind of fats they contain. Many of these oils are incredibly high in omega-6 fatty acids. Now, omega-6 excess aren't bad in moderation. In fact, we need them. But in today's diet, they often overpower omega-3s, which are the heart protective fats found in things like flax seeds, walnuts, and fish. When your diet is flooded with too much omega-6 and not enough omega-3, it creates an imbalance. That imbalance can lead to inflammation, and long-term inflammation is one of the key culprits behind heart disease. So the next time you're cooking, reach for olive oil instead. It's rich in monounsaturated fats that help lower bad cholesterol and support overall cardiovascular health. Avocado oil is another great option. And if you're feeling adventurous, try adding a small amount of ground flaxseed to your morning oatmeal or yogurt. It's a gentle step toward a more heart-friendly balance. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. Our bodies are still amazing, still capable of healing and strengthening no matter our age. But they do need a little extra care, a little more mindfulness than they did when we were 30 or 40. The good news is these changes don't require a dramatic overhaul of your lifestyle. They start with a closer look at your grocery cart, a second thought before you open a can, or a switch in what you drizzle into your frying pan. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need to cut out every single treat or spend hours in the kitchen. But each small step, less salt, less sugar, better oils, is like a gift you're giving your heart. And your heart has been working hard for you every single day for over 70 years. Don't you think it deserves that kind of care? So we've talked about the everyday items, processed meats, hidden trans fats, salty soups, sneaky sugars, and even cooking oils that quietly wear down your heart's strength over time. But there are still a couple more foods that deserve a second look, especially once we reach our 70s and beyond. Now, let's take a moment to talk about something that's often associated with good times, celebrations, or simply winding down after a long day: alcohol. Maybe it's a glass of wine at dinner, a small whiskey on the weekend, or a cold beer on a sunny afternoon. And to be clear, I'm not here to scold or tell you that enjoying an occasional drink is wrong. In fact, moderate alcohol, particularly red wine, has often been praised for its potential heart benefits. But here's the honest truth. After 70, the way your body handles alcohol changes dramatically. As we age, we lose muscle mass and water content, which means alcohol stays in our system longer and hits us harder than it used to. The liver processes alcohol more slowly, the brain becomes more sensitive to its effects, and most importantly, alcohol can raise blood pressure, interfere with medications, and weaken the heart muscle when consumed too frequently. Over time, regular drinking, even what used to seem like a modest amount, can contribute to arrhythmias, irregular heartbeat, weight gain, and increased risk of heart failure. And let's not forget how alcohol can affect sleep. You might think a nightcap helps you relax, but it can actually disrupt deep sleep and leave you more tired the next day. That fatigue often leads to poor food choices or skipping exercise, which quietly adds more weight onto the heart's shoulders. If you do enjoy alcohol, keep it light and occasional, and always check with your doctor if you're on any heart or blood pressure medications. Now, there's one more culprit I want to bring up, and it might just be the most underestimated food of them all: white bread. Yes, that simple loaf sitting in your pantry, the one you might reach for when making a quick sandwich or toast in the morning. It's soft, familiar, and for many of us, it's been part of our diet for decades. But white bread, along with other refined grains like white rice, pasta made with white flour, or pastries made from refined grains, can be quietly problematic. The issue is how quickly these foods turn into sugar in your bloodstream. You eat a slice of white bread and your body processes it almost like a spoonful of sugar. That quick spike in blood sugar may be subtle, but over time, it leads to insulin resistance, inflammation, and excess fat storage, especially around the belly, which is particularly risky for heart health. When you eat too many refined carbohydrates, your triglycerides go up, your bad LDL cholesterol may increase, and your risk for heart disease climbs right along with it. The good news? Whole grains are an easy upgrade. Whole wheat bread, oats, brown rice, and even grains like quinoa and barley can help stabilize your blood sugar, keep you feeling full longer, and support better cholesterol levels. And let's be honest, whole grain bread isn't what it used to be. These days, it can be soft, tasty, and just as convenient as the white version. Just check the label to make sure the first ingredient says whole wheat or whole grain, not enriched flour or something vague like wheat flour. A small change like that can be a major investment in your heart's future. So now that we've walked through the foods that quietly chip away at your heart's strength, let's take a step back and breathe for a moment. Because here's something important. This isn't about guilt or regret. It's not about punishing yourself for foods you've enjoyed in the past. It's about awareness and choice. You are still in control. You still have the power to change what's on your plate, what's in your pantry, and what habits you carry into this next beautiful chapter of life. Your heart is with you on that journey, beating faithfully with every step you take toward better health. And small steps, just 1 or 2 changes a week, can lead to big results over time. Maybe it's replacing that salty canned soup with a homemade veggie broth, or choosing steel-cut oats instead of sugary cereal in the morning. Maybe it's skipping that extra glass of wine in the evening or swapping white bread for something with a little more fiber and heart support. These are simple steps, doable steps. You don't need perfection, you just need progress. And here's something even more encouraging: your body responds faster than you think. Within weeks of cutting back on sodium, your blood pressure can drop. Within days of reducing sugar, your energy can improve. Swap in some healthy fats and your cholesterol might begin to shift in the right direction. It's not magic. It's just your body finally getting the support it needs. I know change can feel hard, especially when these foods are tied to memories, routines, and comfort. But you deserve to feel good. You deserve a heart that works smoothly and strongly, not one weighed down by years of silent wear and tear. And most of all, you deserve to enjoy the years ahead with clarity, vitality, and peace of mind. So here's my encouragement to you. Take one small action today. Just one. Open your fridge or pantry, read one label, make one better choice. That's how real, lasting change begins, not with guilt or pressure, but with compassion and intention. You're not alone in this, and it's never, ever too late to start. Now that you've got a clearer picture of the kinds of foods that might be quietly putting stress on your heart, you might be wondering, where do I go from here? It's one thing to know what not to eat, but the bigger question becomes, what should I eat instead? The truth is, avoiding these 7 foods isn't about restriction, it's about freedom. It's about freeing your body from the inflammation, the weight gain, and the roller coaster of blood sugar and blood pressure that can drag you down. And it's about giving your heart the space it needs to keep doing its job, pumping strong, steady, and full of life. Now, you don't need to become a gourmet chef or spend hours prepping strange ingredients you've never heard of. In fact, many of the most heart-loving meals are the simplest ones. Think of a warm bowl of oatmeal with a few berries in the morning, a colorful salad with olive oil dressing for lunch, or a hearty vegetable stir-fry with brown rice for dinner. Nothing fancy. Just food that your body understands, natural, fresh, and kind to your heart. And don't worry if this all feels like a big shift. Changing habits after 70 can feel overwhelming, but you're stronger than you think. You've made it this far. You've seen and lived through more than most people will ever know. A few changes in your kitchen? You can absolutely handle that. What helps is taking it one meal at a time. If white bread has been your go-to for decades, try swapping it just once this week for whole grain. If you enjoy processed meats, maybe go for grilled chicken or beans now and then. You don't need to throw everything out at once. It's not all or nothing, it's every little thing added up that creates momentum. And let's not forget the emotional side of this journey. Food is personal. It's tied to memories, Sunday breakfast with the family, holiday meals, traditions that bring warmth to the heart in more ways than one. And that's okay. No one's asking you to let go of the love that's tied to those meals. Just give your heart a new kind of love, a version that fuels it rather than strains it. One beautiful thing that often happens when we become more mindful of our health is that it opens the door to connection. You might start cooking more with a partner, a grandchild, or a friend. You might inspire someone else to think twice about that sugary drink or fried snack. And suddenly, you're not just changing your health, you're becoming a source of strength and encouragement for the people around you. That's powerful. That's legacy. Now, before we wrap up, let me offer you a little perspective. Our culture tends to treat aging like a decline, like we're supposed to slow down, shrink back, or accept feeling tired and stiff all the time. But that's not the truth. Aging is a season, a rich, meaningful, and beautiful one. And how we care for our hearts in this season determines how we get to live it. You may not be 30 anymore, but your 70s, 80s, and even 90s can be filled with energy, purpose, and joy, if you support the engine that makes it all possible. Your heart isn't just a muscle, it's your partner in every hug, every walk, every laugh, every dream you still want to chase. And the best part? That partner is resilient. Your heart wants to work better. It's not too late. Whether you've been eating these foods your whole life or just recently started noticing their effects, you can begin again. That's the beauty of the body, it responds to kindness at any age. So if you've been feeling a little sluggish, if your doctor's been raising an eyebrow at your blood pressure, or if you simply want to feel more alive again, listen to that feeling. Use it as fuel. Let today be the day you draw the line, not with fear or frustration, but with hope. Because here's the truth, you have more control than you think. You get to choose what goes on your plate, how you move your body, and how you care for yourself. You get to choose whether each day supports your heart, or weighs it down. And I want you to choose life. Choose energy. Choose that long walk on a cool morning. Choose dancing in the living room with your grandkids. Choose waking up and feeling like your best years are not behind you, but right here, still waiting to be lived. Before you go, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Which one of these foods surprised you the most? Or maybe you've already made one of these changes and noticed a difference. If so, share it in the comments. Your story might be just the encouragement someone else needs today. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like. It really does help more people see it. Subscribe for more tips on how to live a stronger, healthier, and happier life after 60. We've got so many great topics coming, and I can't wait to continue this journey with you. Remember, it's never too late to take better care of your heart, and in doing so, take better care of your life. Here's to living your best life at any age. You've got this.